What if the real difference between you and a billionaire isn't just the number of zeros in your bank account, but the way your mind thinks about money? Consider this. The richest 1% own almost half of the world's wealth. Are they simply lucky? Or have they unlocked a hidden psychology that gives them an edge? In this video, we'll peel back the curtain on how the ultra-rich view money differently. From mental models that attract wealth to mindset shifts anyone can adopt, we're diving deep into the hidden psychology of the ultra-wealthy. Stick around, because by the end, you'll know how to train your own brain to think like a millionaire. Wealth mindset versus scarcity mindset. One of the biggest differences between ultra-rich individuals and everyone else is mindset. The wealthy typically operate from an abundance mindset, seeing the world as full of opportunities and believing there's always more wealth to create. This perspective encourages creativity and risk-taking, a willingness to invest in new ideas or businesses, because they trust that even if one opportunity doesn't pan out, another will come. In contrast, a lot of ordinary people live with a scarcity mindset, viewing money as a limited resource that could run out at any moment. A scarcity mindset might make you overly cautious or afraid. You focus on cutting costs and hoarding what you have, rather than seeking new ways to earn. You might even see someone else's success as your loss, a zero-sum game. The result? Fear-based decisions that can keep you stuck financially. Real-life example. Rich dad versus poor dad. There's a famous story from investor Robert Kiyosaki's life that shows this difference in mindset. He had two father figures growing up. One, his own dad, was highly educated but always struggled with money, and the other, his friend's dad, a businessman, became very wealthy. Kiyosaki noticed his poor dad often said, "I can't afford it," whenever something was too expensive. But his rich dad forbade that kind of thinking. Instead, the rich dad would ask, "How can I afford it?" One statement shuts down possibility, and the question opens up creativity. By asking how to afford something, his rich dad trained his brain to look for opportunities, maybe starting a side business or investing, rather than accepting defeat. This is a perfect snapshot of wealth versus scarcity mindset. The ultra-rich habitually exercise their mind to solve money problems, whereas others often give up or avoid the topic out of fear. Over time, that mental exercise leads to greater financial strength. The ultra-rich and risk, bold but calculated. Another psychological trait of the ultra-wealthy is how they approach risk and failure. Being rich doesn't mean being reckless. It means being willing to take calculated risks and not being crushed by failure. The wealthy see failure as a learning opportunity, not a final defeat. If an investment or business idea fails, they analyze what went wrong, adapt, and try again. This resilience comes from that abundance mindset. They don't see one failure as the end of the road, just a bump along a much bigger road. Think of entrepreneurs like Elon Musk, who invested most of his PayPal fortune into Tesla and SpaceX. In 2008, both companies were on the brink of collapse, a risk that could have left him broke. Instead of playing it safe, he doubled down because he believed in the long-term vision. It was a bold risk, but a calculated one based on research and conviction. We know how that story turned out. Those risks made him one of the richest people on the planet. Similarly, many self-made millionaires embrace smart risks. They do their homework, invest in what they understand, and then take action without guaranteed success. If things don't work out, they regroup and try another approach. Contrast this with the average person. Fear of failure can lead to paralysis, like staying in an unsatisfying job or keeping money in a zero-interest savings account because at least it's safe. The ultra-rich mindset is nothing ventured, nothing gained. Whereas a fear mindset says nothing ventured, nothing lost, but nothing gained either. By not fearing failure, wealthy thinkers unlock opportunities that most would shy away from. Delayed gratification, playing the long game. If there's one psychological skill ultra-rich people have mastered, it's delayed gratification. In simple terms, that means resisting the temptation of a smaller reward, now in order to reap a much bigger reward later. Psychologists say this trait is a huge predictor of success. In the famous Stanford marshmallow experiment, children who resisted eating one marshmallow immediately and waited to get 2 marshmallows later ended up achieving higher academic and life success when researchers followed up years later. The same principle applies to money. Wealthy individuals are willing to sacrifice now to benefit later. They might drive an older car or live in a modest home while building their business, instead of spending every dollar as soon as they earn it. They reinvest profits back into their ventures or portfolios. They prioritize long-term gains over instant pleasure. Consider investing. The ultra-rich often choose an investment that might take 5 or 10 years to pay off, rather than chasing a get-rich-quick scheme. They understand the power of compound interest and growth over time. Someone with a scarcity or short-term mindset might cash out investments at the first sign of profit, or panic sell during a downturn. In contrast, a wealthy mindset person thinks, where could this grow if I give it time? They are patient. For example, legendary investor Warren Buffett famously said his favorite holding period for a stock is forever. He's in it for the long haul, which is how he turned a few $1,000s as a young man into billions over decades. This ability to delay gratification also applies to career moves. Ultra-rich folks often spend years mastering a skill or building a company before expecting huge rewards. They don't need immediate validation. They play the long game. On the flip side, if you've ever blown your paycheck on a new gadget or luxury right away instead of investing that money, you felt how tempting instant gratification is. Our brains love immediate rewards, but training yourself to wait, to invest money rather than spend it, is key to growing wealth. The ultra-rich get a dopamine kick, not from spending money, but from seeing their investments grow. Strategic and big picture thinking. The wealthy also excel at strategic thinking when it comes to money. They don't just earn money, they put each dollar to work with a purpose. Every financial decision is part of a bigger plan. This might mean budgeting at a high level. Yes, billionaires think about budgets too, just on a larger scale. Or carefully choosing where to invest their time and energy. They often ask, how does this move get me closer to my goal of financial freedom or business growth? For instance, the ultra-rich focus on assets over liabilities. An asset is something that generates income or grows in value, like investments, real estate, or a business, while a liability just eats up money. Wealthy people love buying or building assets and avoid throwing money at liabilities that don't serve them. That's why you might see a millionaire investing in a rental property or stocks rather than buying a flashier car. It's not that they never enjoy luxuries, but they tend to take care of building assets first. This strategic allocation is a mental model. Money is a tool to generate more money. Additionally, many wealthy individuals are big on financial education and self-improvement. They read books, follow markets, learn from mentors. This continuous learning mindset keeps them sharp and able to spot opportunities or avoid scams. It's psychology at work. Instead of saying, I already know enough, they're often curious and humble about learning, which gives them an edge. As an example, millionaire entrepreneurs often credit reading and learning as keys to their success. They treat their brain as their one asset. Investor and author Warren Buffett, despite being one of the richest people, reportedly spends 5 to 6 hours a day reading. Bill Gates, another self-made billionaire, famously takes think weeks to just read and strategize away from daily distractions. This commitment to big picture thinking and learning is part of their psychology of money, always asking, what's the smartest thing to do with these resources, rather than acting on impulse. How you can adopt the wealthy mindset. The exciting part is that these psychological habits of the ultra-rich aren't genetic or exclusive. You can train your own mind to adopt them. Here are some actionable steps to start shifting your mindset and habits toward wealth. Practice abundance thinking. Catch yourself when you're thinking "I can't" or worrying there's not enough to go around. Replace those thoughts with possibilities. For example, if an expense pops up, instead of saying "I can't afford it," challenge yourself with "How could I afford it?" Could you cut a smaller expense, increase your income, or find a creative solution? This trains your brain to focus on opportunities and solutions rather than limitations. Over time, you'll start seeing chances to earn or save that you used to overlook. Get comfortable taking calculated risks. You don't need to bet the farm, but start stepping out of your comfort zone in small ways. It could be investing a bit of money into a stock index fund, starting that side hustle you've been dreaming of, or even networking with people in your industry, which can feel risky if you're shy. The key is to do your homework, understand the risk, and then take action. Treat any failures or missteps as experiments that teach you something, not as permanent mistakes. Maybe you'll try a small business and it doesn't work out. Analyze why, learn from it, and remember that even billionaires have failures. Build your delayed gratification muscle. Create habits that make waiting easier. For instance, institute a 48-hour rule for big purchases. If you see something you want, wait 2 days before buying. You might find the urge passes, and you've just saved money to invest or use more wisely. Automate good behaviors. Set up an automatic transfer to savings or investments each month before you can spend that money. This way, you pay yourself first, like the rich do, and live on what's left. It trains you to not even miss that money. Start a long-term project, like a course or a certification, that doesn't pay off immediately, just to teach yourself patience and enjoyment of progress over instant results. Think long-term and set goals. Write down a big financial goal, like buy a home in 5 years or start my own company by 2025 or reach $100,000 investment portfolio. Then break it into smaller steps. When you have a long-term vision, day-to-day decisions become easier to make. You'll find yourself asking, does this purchase or decision get me closer to my goal or not? That is strategic thinking. The ultra-rich often have a clear vision of what they want financially 5, 10, 20 years out. Start doing the same, and your choices will align with that vision. Almost like your internal GPS for money. Invest in your financial education. Make it a habit to learn about money. You could read one personal finance or investing book a month, follow a reputable finance podcast, or even take an online course on money management or business. The idea is to treat growing your knowledge as an investment, because it is. The more you know, the more confidently and wisely you can make money moves. Remember, knowledge compounds just like money. Train your brain for wealth. The ultra-rich aren't superhuman. Their secret is in how they think about challenges, opportunities, and money itself. They cultivate an abundance mindset. View money as a tool. Take calculated risks. Delay gratification, and always keep the big picture in mind. The best news is these are learnable skills. You can start reprogramming your money mindset today by making small changes. Ask empowering questions. Take that smart risk. Wait a little longer before indulging, and never stop learning. Over time, these habits compound, and you'll notice your financial life opening up. Imagine yourself a year or two from now. You've adopted these mental models, and you're making moves that surprise even you. Investments paying off, opportunities coming your way, finances growing. It all starts in the mind. As the saying goes, riches begin in the mind before they reflect in the bank account. So start thinking like the ultra-rich, and who knows, you might just join them. If you found these insights useful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Boom Blaster Stoic for more deep dives into the psychology of success. Drop a comment on which mindset shift you're starting today. We'd love to hear your plan. Remember, mastering wealth begins with mastering your mind. Share this video with a friend who could use a mindset upgrade, and let's all grow rich together, one thought at a time.